Scrutinize this.
By 5. Loose. Picked up by Plumlee. Here comes Rozier. He's got Myles. Oh! Yowza! Humdiddly-dee! Ball with his hair on fire. Myles! Wow!
Really has. Familiar with the starting role, but look at this right here.
Tuesday. Won't be back in the short pants until Wednesday. Myles Bridges. Oh, two-handed tomahawk.
Oh. Look at that. Right around Boucher. Oh my.
Oh.
Wow.
Devontae Graham back into the game. Hornets are going to play small. Milwaukee has 5 reserves in the. Oh my goodness! Myles Bridges!
All right, brothers, it's your boy KD, and we back at it one more again. And so, coming in, I'd like you to share this video, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so that you make sure that you get all updates on new things that I post. We've been talking about a myriad of topics here lately, and so we want to make sure that you are aware of everything that we discuss and talk about so that you can give input and we can get ideas about even more things that we can discuss to make sure that our evaluation skills as men are every day sharpened. But today, in the news feed today, we're going to, news pops up about one Myles Emmanuel Bridges, 24-year-old forward out of those Mychell Jordan Chicago, I almost said Chicago, but those Mychell Jordan Charlotte Hornets. Got Lonzo Ball over there, and you always hear the commentator, Myles Bridges from Melo Ball. Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing. This brother may have messed himself up to where you might not hear nothing but Melo Ball, no Bridges. Because, man, what he's in the news for today, 24-year-old, 6'7" forward who, has played a mighty good role for this team. He averaged 20 points, shot 49% from the field, 33% from 3, averaged 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. So when you talk about 20 points, man, you're talking about a great deal of the Charlotte Hornets' contribution on the offensive side comes from the connection that Melo Ball has with forward Myles Bridges. But at 24 years old, man, let's talk about some of the things that you're probably learning at 24. At 24, you're probably coming to that understanding and realizing that you can really blink and you're back in high school. If you say 18 is the time he got out of school, it's really been 6 years since he's been out of high school, maybe. And you really haven't learned a whole lot in life yet. And it's not saying that you can't be married, but there's so many things that you should have learned by the time you decide to get married, let alone bring children into this world. And so at 24, and when you think about coming into the league and making millions, there's a lot of things that you just haven't figured out yet or learned yet. And depending on the background story of this brother, it says that he's the son of Raymond Bridges and Cynthia Bridges. So I'm going to assume that maybe they might be married. And if they are married, it looks to be that he saw a married mother and father growing up. And that's just assuming right now. I may come back to this. But let's just assume he saw a mother and father. You would assume that he got a lot of the teaching necessary to be a man in this world. But if he didn't, and his mother, whether single mother or whatever the case may be, got a chance to have more reign over his life when it came down to what was being taught to him, then there's going to be more of a feminine spirit there than the masculine spirit. And so when you have had all this time behind closed doors under the authoritative voice of a feminine power, and then you add in the fact that his only sibling is a sister, Tara Rushing. Now, I don't know if that means she's married, or I don't know if that means that mom had a child before she got with his dad. I don't know. but her name is different than his, Tara Rushing. So maybe she could be married. I'll have to look into that. But in most of these homes, I've talked about the scenario, shout out to my man's Lord Tyron Joe, who coined the term Big Mama Energy, in my opinion. Haven't heard anybody else mention that but me, and I got it from him. But he talks about the Big Mama Energy. I go into the depth to say that the Big Mama Energy is something that the child takes on because the young lady only knows how to go by what she saw, just like the young boy only knows he understand what he can go by what he saw. So if the young lady, the sister, saw the energy of the mama or the big mama, then that's what they're gonna sound like. That's what they're gonna move like. And if they aren't being taught how to be a wife, that's what's going to dominate when they become a woman. And then there's one other part that dominates if they didn't learn how to be a wife, and that's the little sister, because she is a sister. She can only be what she was or what she saw. She saw Big Mama, so she can either act like that, or she's going to be little sister and act like that in a relationship behind closed doors if she never learned how to properly be a wife, because Miles was married to this woman. So the reason why I point those things out and then look at his age, focus on his age, is because this is why I press you brothers about making sure you go through all your ups and downs. Even Christ, before he started to really groom his bride, groom his church, groom his disciples, he was about 33 when everything came to an end, when he started to go out the most. He was in his early 30s. He had knowledge. He was full of things that he needed to get out. And that's how you know when you've reached manhood, when you have gathered enough experiences to when it's time to transfer those to your students, which will be your disciples, a la your wife that you choose to. Then when your children come, now your children are your disciples. And so I don't know how much Miles has been through at 24. But when you compare his 24 to someone like my 41 or older, there's a lot of different things you're going to hear from someone his age versus a 41-year-old or older. And so I say all that to say this. When you go from up under mother's authoritative voice and then you shack up or you move in with your girl and all that different stuff, and you don't really know them a lot, it will tend to come out behind closed doors, possibly the way whatever came out the way it did behind closed doors with Mr. Miles Bridges here. So with all the accolades that he's accomplished for the Charlotte Hornets, he has allegations against him from his wife, Michelle Williams. She posted photos of the abuse she sustained allegedly from her husband this week. Suffered a fractured nose and wrist, torn eardrum, torn neck muscle. Wow. Concussion. All of this happened in front of their children. Now, this is the key, because this is where his career could be over. Because in some states, it is a felony to even do anything like this, close to this, even a push, whatever. Anything domestic in front of children, in some states, in front of children that are 15 and younger. Anybody 15 or younger, something like this happens in front of, they don't need her testimony. They don't need her pressing charges. The state can come full-fledged against you. This is deep. This is serious. Williams, in an Instagram post, says she has nothing to gain from any of this, but has to protect herself and her children from further abuse by going public and no longer trying to protect her husband's image. Stay strong, Michelle. Listen, that part, you have to preface it by saying, you're not trying to gain anything from it. But listen, when you put something this fragile before the masses, it's going to destroy the image. All you had to do, and that's the thing about this new age, all you had to do is just go to authorities to put it out there and all this different stuff. And then let's just say it's alleged. These are the things that a lot of men don't necessarily bounce back from. And so I'm wishing the best for Mr. Miles Bridges here, but it's something about them Charlotte Hornets this year, because, at the end of the day, they had another player that had some legal issues, Montrezl Harrell, drug issues. So If those are two players that got legal issues coming off your books, that's big, man. Just big in life, period, for men to go down off of stuff because they're not focused in life for whatever reason. But brothers, you have to do proper evaluating. You have to get yourself together so that when you're behind closed doors, you're moving in a way that does not show that you are ignorant and lacking the ability to be be the structure and the balance and the locomotive that leads to home. Your children need to see you loving and moving in full masculinity, which is your teaching and your protection and your wisdom, so that in the event you should leave this earth, you've already put them on game. And if these allegations stand true, prayers up to Miles Bridges. This is never acceptable. But I pray that the brother gets what he needs, the help he needs. I pray that Michelle gets what she needs. I pray that these children who have had to witness brokenness behind closed doors, if that be the case, I pray that this doesn't scar them for the rest of their lives. Family starts with you, brothers. It starts with you. Family starts in the loins of men. And by the time that he joins a woman and becomes one flesh by creating children, you have to be ready to sit in the front of the car while they sit back and watch you from a spectator's position, from a student's position. And you got to be ready to teach with your life. And this is not a proper way. And a lot of brothers are out here, and what gets me, a lot of brothers out here showing their emotions and their frustrations and their mental break through walking up and down the streets, can't barely speak to each other, ready to fight in a heartbeat because somebody stepped on your shoe by accident or anything. There's so much tension and emotion down in you because you spent so many years possibly under your mother's voice giving you idle threats and I'm gonna beat your butt if you don't do that and this, that, and other and all this stuff. And I don't care how big you get, I'll break you down, boy, and all this other stuff. I've heard so many mothers that are by themselves scream idle threats, really because deep down they were fearful that their boy grew bigger than them. They were in their feelings because their boy started to look like the father the more he grew up. And then that son started to get certain abuse. And then that woman is choosing between whether she want to be a mother or treat that son like a son husband. Because I'm sure now that he's in the league, he's done a whole lot of things for her and his mother and people in his family. But considering what he's might have had to go through, what typical so-called black young man has to go through growing up in these homes under the voice of their mothers, and then your sister may be trying to duplicate what she's learning from her mother, and being a nagging little sister towards you and different things. So you've grown up under voices of men, of multiple females. Then you go live with your woman, ain't got it together down in your soul, and now you have what you had in Tyler Perry's movie Acrimony. And you don't know how to deal with it behind closed doors, so it comes out through domestic violence. We got to get a hold on this. So, brothers, I didn't want this to be long, but I just wanted to point this out, put it in your ear, give you my opinion for now. And we'll continue to watch the situation to see if we give further perspective down the line. But it's your boy, Katie. I'm out. Bad, bad. Scrutinize this.